All right, we're here. Hello, everyone. How are we all doing today? So, 2022 is a very, very interesting year for me in the landscape of cinema. And one of the reasons why it's so interesting, to me specifically, is that this is the first year in 4 years that I have given a Marvel film an overwhelmingly positive review. I gave Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness a 7 out of 10, and I very much enjoyed that film. If you're interested in hearing my thoughts on it and you haven't, there's a review on this channel. That being said, the next Marvel release of the year is the one that we're talking about today, and that is Thor: Love and Thunder. Now, here's an interesting thing about me, right? I have never, not once, seen a Thor film. I have seen films from every single other franchise that Marvel has pumped out in the past decade and a half, but something inside of me said, dude, you're not gonna like the Thor movies, just stay away from them. And, to be fair, Taika Waititi, I heard some great things about Ragnarok, but to be fair to the franchise, the first two films are in the bottom third of most people's MCU tier lists. So I didn't really feel like I was missing out on anything much, but as Thor: Love and Thunder started approaching quicker and quicker, I was like, man, should I go back and watch the rest of the films? But I ultimately decided not to, just so I could go in with, I know relatively the lore of the films, as I've been told by my friends in the past, So I just went into it blind, and I'm really glad I did, because that saved me the utter pain that I know that I would have gone through watching those other three films, because Thor: Love and Thunder really, really grated on me to a level that I don't know if I'll be able to describe, but in this review, I sure am going to try to describe it. So let's start off this review how I start off all of my reviews, and let's talk about the positives of this film. Even though there aren't very many to me, there are things that are worth mentioning in a more positive light. And the main one of those things is the performance by Christian Bale in this movie. To be honest with you, the best scene of this film is the opening scene in which Christian Bale's character's backstory is described. His performance is amazing. It's very heartfelt. It's one of the few scenes in the film that was able to drum up any sort of emotion for me, and it was solely through the absolute intensity in which Christian Bale delivers his lines, and his physical acting is also phenomenal, and he maintains that all the way through the film, although naturally, as I will get into a little bit, Marvel dialogue syndrome does catch up, and sometimes it does get to be a little corny, but he can't help what's written in the script, you know what I mean? So overall, wonderful performance from Christian Bale, and he is 1,000,000% the highlight of the film. The other thing that I would like to commend about Thor: Love and Thunder is the action scenes. To an extent, yes, as the film continues to go on, they do get relatively repetitive and boring, and there's some times where you can't distinguish one from the other. But what I would like to say about the action scenes specifically in this film is they are very kinetic and they flow very well together. The way in which people work together, like Valkyrie and Jane and Thor all work together in an action scene, is really cool. The way that they interact with each other is nice to see. Even the way they interact against each other at certain points, it's really, really fluid, and I think it's really well done. And it is cool to see a team of people work together. I haven't seen that type of fluidity in an action scene in a superhero films since Birds of Prey, which I am down on record saying that is some of the best action that's ever been in a superhero movie. And while I wouldn't go as far as to say that for this, it was definitely something that I enjoyed. Alright, enough positives. Let's talk about why this movie sucks now. I'm not gonna, let's ease our way into it first, shall we? So here's the problem with Thor: Love and Thunder. And it is a very, very common problem within the MCU that I have and even outside of the MCU, just with Marvel as a company in their films that I've noticed over time as the franchise and the company has progressed pumping things out. I have a problem with Marvel's tone. I don't really think they know how to manage it, because here's the thing about Marvel films. They want to be emotional. They want to be resonant with the viewers. They want to make them feel something and an attachment to the characters. Simultaneously, Marvel also wants to be really funny. Marvel wants to make their audiences laugh. Marvel wants to let their audiences have a good time. The problem with this is that I don't really think I can think of a film that does this well, to be honest with you. Even with Doctor Strange, Multiverse of Madness, it didn't do it well. But specifically in other films that I've seen in this, something like Eternals from last year, they don't know how to transition from serious, like emotional scenes where we are supposed to be feeling something to very, very dry, very, very continuous, derailing jokes. They don't know how to go from one to another without just snap of a finger. There's no like gradual decline or incline into a certain tone or a certain mood that they're trying to convey. It just happens like snap of the finger. We're in a completely different mood than we were like 10 seconds ago. And that just doesn't work for me, and I can't imagine that really works for other people. So the problem that is then presented is no matter how funny the humor is, and no matter how genuine and authentic the emotional scenes are, you are going to have to deal with an audience being completely tricked and having to completely readjust their mindset in order to appropriately view the scene. If you're making jokes about poop is funny, I don't know, I can't think of anything right now, but there have been dumb jokes like that in Marvel films. And then 10 seconds later, you're talking about someone, your dead relative or something like that, which is something that really does happen in these movies. You, as an audience member, you have to adjust your mindset, and that takes some time to get into a different mindset. And once you get into that mindset, by the time you are like, okay, I'm here, I'm in this moment, I'm ready to digest this serious content, they've switched back to jokes again. And it just does not work. That's not how you maneuver your way through a film. You have to be able to elegantly either combine or transition between these emotions or these dialogues, and it just really doesn't work here. Actually, you know what? Saying it doesn't work here is inaccurate. They don't try. There's no attempt to bridge the gap. It's just emotion, humor, sadness, humor, just a constant, it's like a ping pong match. It's getting hit back and forth continuously, and it's exhausting to keep up with. And here's the problem, specifically with Thor: Love and Thunder, that's exhausting to keep up with when the humor is really great and the emotional scenes are really great. But here, neither of those are the case. And I was told this about Thor Ragnarok, but I've never seen it, so I can't judge it if I haven't seen it. But I can judge a film made by the same guy in the same franchise based off of seeing this film. And yeah, the problem with this is that Taika Waititi seems to think, haha, this thing is happening is enough humor to like work off of. And I don't think it is. Haha, these goats scream, and then the joke throughout the whole thing is that the goats scream. There's no added context. There's no attempt to make a more complex joke. It's just, haha, goats scream, and that's the only purpose of the goats being in the film. And there's no like characterization to them or anything like that. And it's kind of the same thing with all of the jokes, and the emotional stuff in this film is frankly just laughable. And the thing that is interesting about that to me is Marvel has never really explored outside of the basic realm of emotional themes. But with this film and the things that they are talking about in this film, they very easily could have done that. But instead, they just decided to do love wins, love matters, believe in love, and there's like nothing else other than that. And it's so, we've seen it so many times before, and we've seen it done so much better on so many different occasions. It is almost abhorrent. And so also everything surrounding that problem that I brought up is just bad. The cinematography is very stagnant. It's very, very blasé, very kind of nothing. The acting performances from everyone are just meh. It seems like nobody cared about anything once again. It's just so exhausting to watch, and it's pointless, and it's monotonous. I was completely checked out by the end of the first hour. So yeah, nothing really to see here. Would not recommend it whatsoever. Ultimately, at the end of the day, I am going to be giving Thor: Love and Thunder a 3 out of 10. God knows I was close to giving it a 2 out of 10, but the technical aspects don't warrant that rating to me. But yeah, Thor: Love and Thunder is bad, and that's okay because people are gonna love it, and I'm glad that people are gonna love it. So that is about it for this video. I hope you are having a wonderful day. I am excited to do some videos next week. I think I'll be doing another Quest for Classics. I perhaps have a video in the pipeline that you all would be very interested in. I don't know if it will come to fruition yet, but who knows? So yeah, thank you so much for watching once again. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day, and I will talk to you in the next one. Goodbye.